What's going on, Bauds? Welcome back to the Baud Fawk Sports Podcast. As always, I'm Justin. I'm here with my broski Tarren.
What's going on, guys?
And today we're going to jump back into the world of the NBA. So without further ado, the Phoenix Suns, man, they're on an 18-game win streak now after starting off the season 1-3.
It's absolutely insane. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, obviously, no one would have saw this coming even before the start of the season. Like, it's just kind of a crazy achievement. I definitely think it'll probably be ended tonight when they play the Golden State Warriors in Golden State because yes, they just beat the Golden State Warriors, but I think that was probably Steph Curry's worst game of the season. Shot terrible from the field. He just didn't look good out there. So um, I definitely think it'll end soon, but still, like, what an accomplishment, right? Like 18 games in a row is no small feat. So definitely got to give them their credit.
Yeah, no, it is pretty impressive. And like I know the team started off 1-3, so they're kind of questions in the air. Then they won a game and haven't looked back since. So, Chris Paul is playing at a pretty elite level. Granted they just beat the Warriors and the Pistons. Now I know the Pistons aren't that good of a team, but they did beat the Warriors without Devin Booker for most of that game. And Devin Booker won't be there for the rematch tonight. So I mean, yeah, this could be the end of the win streak. I personally think it will be two, just because they're coming off a back-to-back. And I think the Warriors are gonna want their revenge. But they've just been playing amazing basketball. The role players have been stepping up. Chris Paul's been playing pretty good. And yeah, I know we had the Warriors labeled as like the team that can't lose, and then they faced the Suns, and now the Suns are that team. So we'll see. This is a big game for them tonight. I do think Curry will want to bounce back, because he did have a very, very poor shooting night that game. Mikal Bridges was kind of clamping him up there. So I think tonight will definitely be like a revenge tour type of beat. I think the Warriors at home, they're gonna get the job done. But hey, man, I'm not gonna count out the Suns. I just hope that's a really good game of basketball.
Yeah, well, like you said, like just without Devin Booker for the whole game, I don't know if they can do it. It's a really big loss. I don't think he's out for a long time, only like a few games. I think it's a minor hamstring injury, but yeah, still big loss, right? That's a huge part of their offense, right? Just Devin Booker just cooking, because that's just what he does. So I definitely think it'll end tonight, but yeah, like you said, like they have really good role players. Bridges is obviously like, you know, class, really great defensive player, and they just Chris Paul is he is what he is. Um, I've always said, like, I think he's overrated. He's not my favorite player, but he's good. Like, I'm not going to deny that. Like, he gets all this credit and this love for a specific reason, obviously. So yeah, I just think they have a really good squad, and they're finally playing at where I think well, above where I thought they were going to this season, but um, they're finally playing like a real, like, cohesive team. So I think they're definitely one of the best teams in the league, and I'm not sure how long it'll continue for, because that 1-3 start was kind of like weird, but this 18 game stretch like has been crazy to watch.
Yeah, no, Phil. And I know last year when they were in the finals, it was made note that this team had no players who had a championship. And I'm pretty sure that still stands. I don't know if they added anyone who has a ring. I don't think they did. Could be wrong on that. But it seems like they're playing like that again. They have that championship ambition, that drive. I feel like, yeah, once that 1-3 happened, there were a lot of questions up in the air. Was that just a fluke? Was there asterisks of injuries? But now look, they're the first seed in the whole NBA. 18-game win streak, went 17-0 in November. No loss November for
Yeah.
the Phoenix Suns there. So I mean, yeah, they're playing like a team possessed. And I think winning against the Warriors is obviously a great feat, especially this Warriors team, but doing it twice, can lightning strike twice. And it'll be a big test for them tonight. I'm hoping it's just a great basketball game. Like, I really, I'm not rooting against the Suns. I just think the Warriors will get the win tonight, but it could be a great basketball game. And I think the Suns really, like, they should be the favorite going to it, but despite the Warriors being at home, I think the Suns should be the favorites. But I'm going to go with Golden State, and I think Curry's going to have a phenomenal game tonight.
Yeah, I definitely think they'll be on the revenge mode. But um, I did want to just say, because you said you didn't think there was any player that they had that had a championship, or they didn't add anyone. They actually added JaVale McGee to
Oh,
this roster, and
oh,
two-time champion. So put some respect on his name.
Hey man, maybe that's
He's a
the it
legend.
factor right there.
That's it. They needed that championship experience, and that's just what JaVale McGee brings. So,
Yeah.
no, but in all seriousness, JaVale McGee is he's actually a solid role player. I know he's been on Shaqtin' a Fool a couple times, so people like to make fun of him, but really solid role player, knows what it takes to win, clearly, and the Phoenix Suns. I do think, like you said, it will end tonight. I do think Steph Curry will. I'm gonna go. He's gonna drop like 37 and 6 and 6. I'm expecting a huge game from him. Unlike you, I am rooting against the Suns, just because I just don't want to see Chris Paul do that well. To be honest, no, I'm just kidding. He can win, but I do think Golden State will take it and bounce back. Obviously, but mostly Steph Curry, I think, will bounce back from that game because it was just shocking.
Yeah, I know. I completely agree. Last time Curry only had 12 points in 36 minutes. So, that game, Jordan Poole had 28 points. So he stepped up, but, they're going to need that extra, they only lost by 8 points. They're going to need that extra 10 points tonight. I think Curry's going to have to step it up. I don't think he's going to have 37, but in my mind, I think he's going to drop at least 30. And I could see him getting at least 10 assists, but I think he's going to have a mod night tonight. But with that being said, he's either going to do that and we're going to be, right, or they're going to get blown out and he's going to have 10 points. But yeah, I do think tonight will be a bounce back. I'm excited to see how the Warriors do. And speaking of the Warriors quickly, Klay Thompson, his return is, imminent. It feels like he's coming back any day now. So I think a big win, I still without Klay, but a big win without Klay could set up a nice return for him in the coming weeks.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited to see him come back. We've talked about this, I think even on the first episode, just excited to see Klay come back. So definitely been waiting to see what he can do. I'm hoping he's still going to be at his top level. I'm pretty sure he will be because he's just that good of a shooter. So I'm sure he'll be fine. But I'm excited to see him come back, and this Warriors team is already insane without him, as we've seen. So if he can come back and perform at his level that we know he can be at, then this team is going to probably go to the finals if Klay can come back at his best form.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. It's crazy to think about because when the Warriors had lost to the Raptors, it's I know the dynasty's over, and now just only 3 years later, it's okay, they could make a big run for it again. It would be interesting to see how they do this team does do in the playoffs. I would hope by then the Lakers are kind of in the mix in the hunt, but it feels like it's a 2-horse race between Phoenix and the Warriors in the West. Now, granted, I hope that changes because I do hope the Lakers step up. But this could be a conference finals preview right now. I know we're only in December, could be a big take, but we could be seeing these two teams again in the playoffs.
That would be crazy. I mean, yeah, if the Western Conference Finals is Suns Golden State, that would definitely be interesting. I like you said, I also agree. I want to see the Lakers there more than anything else. So, not hoping for that, but if that's what we get, that'll be interesting. Chris Paul and Steph Curry is always a fun matchup to watch. Devin Booker versus Klay Thompson, that'll be cool. I will be kind of nervous if DeAndre Ayton is playing at his best. Draymond Green is a good defender, but Ayton is big, man. I don't know if he'll be enough to stop him. So
maybe they'll have Wiseman back. I don't know if he can stop him, but at least they'll have some sort of presence. But yeah, I completely agree. I think when Ayton's on his game, especially when he's on the same wavelength as Chris Paul, we saw it during the playoffs. It's borderline unstoppable. That was just their go-to moves. And yeah, man, the Phoenix Suns little big deal that they have, that's a very good core. And then their role players, man, like you said, have been stepping up this year. So they're playing a great team right now. I definitely think tonight's game will be really good.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's probably going to be game of the night. Well, definitely one of them. I mean, we got a good amount of games going on tonight. It's a big night. I have the Philly Atlanta game going on right now. It's looking like it's going to be a good game. Trae Young, I did want to just talk about him quickly. Trae Young, I think he's 4 games straight of 30 points and 10 assists,
really?
which is insane. So the Hawks are making a comeback because they started off the season really slow, really bad. So, and we were talking about that, like what happened, like because last year in the playoffs, like getting to the conference finals, like that's a pretty big achievement for that young of a team. So, and we were like, why are they starting off so bad? Now that Trae Young's kind of coming into his own, I mean, the record isn't the best; it's 12-10, but they're starting to win more. They're starting to look better. So, yeah, this Hawks team, the East is just insane, to be
I
honest.
know, yeah. Yeah, no, the Hawks are 8-2 in the last 10. That's a pretty good run. As you know, I obviously hate the Hawks and Trae Young because I just really wanted the Knicks to win that series. And then Trae Young choked out Rey Mysterio. So I hate that guy. But in all seriousness, yeah, 30 points and 10 assists is mod. To do it once, do it 4 games in a row, like you said, like that's pretty intense. So I mean, yeah, we've seen how good they are in the playoffs. They might be like a late, not even like a late bloomer because it is still kind of early on, but they could be, by the time it gets to playoff time, we could be saying, yeah, that's like a team to watch out for in the playoffs. Because yeah, man, like the East, like you said, is pretty insane. I don't even know if there's any room for like some other teams I will get into in a bit. But yeah, the Hawks, they could make another big run. I'd like to see them in the playoffs. I'd like to see how they turn out. Granted, no one gets injured. We don't wish injury on anyone over here. But I think if the team stays healthy and they keep playing up to the best, they should be, a top playoff contender.
Yeah, I also don't really like Trae Young. He's kind of become like the NBA bad guy now, and he thrives on that. He likes it, so good for him. I wanted the Knicks to go through as well, and I also I like Philly a lot, right? As you know, obviously I'm not like a Philly fan, but I got some family who support Philly, so I like Philly, and um, now that they got Joel Embiid back, I mean, he started off kind of slow in the first 2 games, but I'm sure they'll be back up and running back before he got COVID, and he was playing insane, and they were doing really good, and then he went out and they started to look really bad. But now he's back. Once he gets into the groove of things, I expect this Philly team to be up in the running. So then you got Philly, Milwaukee, Atlanta, the Nets. The Bulls, the Wizards are up in there. The Celtics can always come back and stuff. So the East is finally better than the West. It's been
It's been
probably
too
like
long, man.
it's been probably like over like 2 decades, to be honest. Like
Yeah.
ever since like MJ, ever since the MJ days. Like I think probably since like the 2000s, like with Shaq and Kobe. I think the West, like San Antonio as well. I think the West has probably been better, but um, yeah, it's pretty entertaining to watch. Pretty much every team in the West will give you a nice, fun game to watch.
Yeah. So I think that's going to be a nice segue because I want to bring up a team that you did not mention, the Toronto Raptors. Had a big win last night against the Milwaukee Bucks. Granted, Giannis was not playing, but the Raptors, they needed a win. They just lost against Memphis in a, pretty boring fashion. But they bounced back. Scotty Barnes had a nice game from three. I think he had 3 3-pointers in total. Fred VanVleet had 29 points. Siakam had a nice 20-point game. So I think, the Raptors, man, like I don't think there's room for them this year to make the playoffs unless they come in eighth, which could be a bit of a stretch. But I think, yeah, this team is kind of inconsistent, but they do show some nice signs of life. And I think last night was like a good win for them.
Hey man, it's still early in the season. Like they could definitely make that eighth spot, or if what I want to if what I want to happen actually does happen, like the Washington Wizards go on like I don't know, like a 50-game losing streak, that would make me so happy. And then maybe you guys could get in. But yeah, no, like in all seriousness, I think the Raptors are good. Like you said, they're inconsistent. Fred VanVleet has looked great. Scotty Barnes, as we know, rookie of the year, no cap. Uh,
Yeah.
future goat. But I don't know. Like the one big thing that I always want to just come back to and say, like, I'm just not sure about is Siakam. Like
Yeah.
I just don't think he's that guy. And, like we say, oh, he's that guy or he's not that guy about a bunch of people. I think Siakam just isn't that guy.
Yeah, no, I definitely, I'm not gonna say I agree, but I definitely, I think as a basketball player, and this is not any like not to be disrespectful, but he needs to develop as a basketball player. Now you look at like Scotty Barnes, let's say, and you know that kid has it. Like he has it. He can be that guy. He is that guy now.
Yeah.
Like he has the fundamentals. And like Nick Nurse, let's say he called him out for not shooting enough threes. Now Scotty Barnes is like shooting efficiently from three since he said that. So there are players like that. And I think, Siakam winning most improved player of the year that season, like that was good. That was a nice step in the right direction. But I don't think we've taken another step yet. And I'm not going to say, maybe you'll say he's regressed. I'm not going to go down on my guy like that just yet. But there's definitely an argument that he has regressed. So I think, I don't know. Like he has 2 more years on his contract. I think maybe it's three. I think it's two. So he does have time to bounce back, but I think we really need to like see some progression here, because if he's not going to do it, then like we just got to move on, because we have too much talent, to be depending on like spin move in the post every time.
Yeah, see, I wouldn't say regressed. I agree with you. I don't think he's regressed. I think the team around him has gotten worse, and he just hasn't gotten better, so it makes him look worse, if that makes any sense. I think because like he came out the gate and he was looking like a really good role player, and then he started stepping up more and showing flashes of being this guy, with like Kawhi there and Kyle Lowry. And I think the team, I mean, you could argue with me, but I think the team, even besides Kawhi Leonard, has just gotten worse over time. Now Kyle Lowry is gone, and even before that, he was just getting older. And Fred VanVleet is good, but he's not prime Kyle Lowry.
Yeah.
So I think the team has just been getting worse, and it's just kind of showing his flaws more because you guys are expecting him to do more. So
Yeah.
and like you said, like he hasn't been progressing. So I don't think he's regressing, but he hasn't gotten better. So if for you guys to expect more of him and he's still at the same level, it's going to make him look worse.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
yeah, I just think he needs like a really good creator, or he needs to learn a way to find his own shot.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And I think, yeah, I would definitely say the talent around him has, gotten worse. We also lost Danny Green, who you forgot to mention. So, but in all seriousness, yeah,
He's actually playing right now.
nice. What a goat, man. But in all seriousness, yeah, I think I'm not saying that this team today has championship aspirations, but in 3 years, maybe, it's a pretty young team. So it's like, is he gonna be that guy in 3 years, or is he still gonna be the, oh man, like he still does the same moves and stuff while we have guys like Barnes and like OG Anunoby and Fred VanVleet playing at an elite level? So I definitely want to see him step up more. The way OG stepped up, granted he is injured now, but we were talking about him to maybe win most improved. But yeah, like OG Anunoby has taken a big step. Gary Trent Jr. has taken a big step on his defensive games. These are little things from players. I'm not saying we're going to win the championship this season, but if everyone's doing their part to get better, then like Siakam can't fall off the train, like he has to keep up and get better. Because, to me on this team, every player is pretty much expendable except for like probably Barnes and VanVleet and OG. So those three specifically, but everyone else has to fight for their spot. And, you see guys fighting out there, giving their all. Granted, we don't win every game, our record reflects that, but I really like hard work, and so does Nick Nurse and the Raptors. So I think he needs to buy into that culture a bit more, because he knows what it takes to win a championship, and we need him to be now that guy. So it's like, are you going to step up, or are you going to crack under the pressure? So like you said, I don't think he's regressed. I know a lot of Raptors fans want to move on. I like Siakam, so I might be biased. Like I don't want to just kick him to the curb just yet, but I definitely need to see something soon. And like the last couple of games since we've criticized him, he hasn't looked bad. He's probably gotten a bit better on the stat sheet. So I just need to see this upward trend keep going up.
Yeah, well, I just think like even if you guys wanted to move on, like who wants to trade for him right now? To be honest, like with the fact that he's so inconsistent, he's up and down. Sometimes he'll give you like a 6 point night, like on bad efficiency, and he's making how much money he is? What, like $30+ million?
I think it's 40, honestly.
Yeah, so like he's making around a max contract, and to match the salary for that kind, like unless you guys are going to trade basically for John Wall, what are your options? And at the end of the day, like, would you rather John Wall over Pascal Siakam? I wouldn't. So that's even with me not being particularly fond of Siakam, as you know. Like I don't think he's that great. I would still rather him over John Wall, and that's pretty much your option with the kind of money he's making. So, like, who really would want him? You guys are kind of forced to stick it out, and with him, being so inconsistent. I thought if Siakam can genuinely give you like a good performance, like it doesn't even have to be spectacular. If he just gave you like an efficient 22 points, like maybe 8 rebounds and like 3 assists or something a night, if he can give you that consistently, you guys would be in the playoffs for sure. It wouldn't even be a
Yeah.
question.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And I think this is now kind of like the problem with modern sports. Because back in the day, you didn't get a contract based on what you could do. It's what you already did. So we kind of gave Siakam this contract expecting he would play into it, and he hasn't. So now it's like, damn, we really gave like our franchise contract to Siakam, who like arguably, I still think he's pretty good, but arguably someone who's not even a top 3 player on the team right now. So it's like, I
Not
think
even
I'm not gonna,
arguably, he just
yeah,
isn't.
yeah, like I'm not gonna say that it was a miss because like at the time it was the right thing to do, but I definitely need to see something. And I know we always use the All-Star break as like a benchmark. Like come All-Star break, if this is still going on, then I'm gonna be very like concerned. So I need to see this upward trend. And we got guys who work hard, and I need to see the same effort, and I need to see the same like perseverance that the rest of the team has in Siakam, because that's our guy. Like you said, we need him to be that guy. So is he gonna crack under pressure? I don't know. I'm rooting for him, obviously. So I hope he could like turn it around so we don't have to talk about his inconsistencies all the time. But really and truly, like if he's not playing good, then the team won't win games.
Yeah, well, because especially with OG being out now, you guys need him more than ever. So, yeah, you guys relying on the wrong guy, I guess. Like, it does kind of suck that you know, in at the end of the day, if you guys still had Kyle Lowry, I think you'd still be in the playoff picture.
Yeah.
Because I think Kyle Lowry would elevate the rest of the players on this team. Not that the rest of the players are playing bad. I think you guys have some really good players, but I think you would especially elevate like someone like Siakam. So um, it does kind of suck that he's gone. And then obviously you have a few other losses, and Dragic isn't even being played, and he just wants to leave. So um, I really think. See, the thing is, we were talking about like, oh, just play Dragic, right? Because he's a
Yeah.
creator, but apparently he just doesn't even want to play in Toronto. And it's
Yeah,
like,
he just took a leave of absence too. I don't know
yeah,
the personal details, but it's like a lost cause. I'm not gonna blame him because like I don't know what he has going on. But like
mhm.
our only solution is now taking a leave of absence.
Well, for me personally, I am gonna blame him because at the end of the
Yeah.
day, bro, like you have a contract to play basketball. Maybe you're not on the team that you like, but you have a contract to play, so you should play. If you want to get traded, show us why you're good enough to get traded.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna sit around here and say like, oh, like do what's best for you, blah blah blah. Like don't play games. You were traded there. That sucks. If you want to leave, then play good enough for them to trade you. So I think the way he's handling is kind of like I'm not a huge fan of it, and as you know, like I've been critical of players who do this, like Ben Simmons in
Yeah.
the past. For me, like that's your job. At the end of the day, like if if I have a job and I don't show up to work because I just don't like it, then I'm gonna get fired. So, um, yeah, like for me, like I don't see what's the big deal. Like Toronto isn't that bad of a place. Maybe I'm biased. I'm Canadian. But Toronto isn't that bad of a place. I think he's being a bit dramatic. I know he was living in Miami, but like
Yeah.
like Toronto isn't a bad team, and I think he could genuinely help them because he's a good creator, and they need
Yeah.
someone like that.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like maybe 10 years ago, sure, man. I get why you don't want to come up and play up north, but like this franchise just won a championship, like we just won one a couple years ago. And the city's like, I don't care. It might be biased because I'm Canadian, obviously, but like the city's amazing. Like I love Toronto. So it's like the culture's there, we have a unique culture. You're not gonna find a basketball city like this in the NBA. So it's like I don't personally get it. You see guys like Scotty Barnes, let's say he's been embracing the city. He's gone to Leaf games, Blue Jay games. He's done the social media stuff. Like, so that's what I like to see. He wants to play here. And I think Dragic is kind of like, immature about it because he kind of saw, yeah, you're getting traded to Toronto. I thought, yeah, no, now I need to not like this. Like, who would not want to play here, all things considered, in 2021? So, yeah, I personally, I don't get that. But yeah, I definitely think if he was playing and had an open mind to it, we would definitely be doing better. Because at the end of the day, we did trade Kyle Lowry for him. So from a Raptors point of view, we traded Lowry for like Precious Atua. Don't get me wrong, Atua was great and all.
Well,
Like he's
at
a
the end of the day,
tanker.
right? It was it was a sign and trade. So he was going to
Yeah,
leave anyway. He was just trying to get you guys something in return, basically. But
yeah,
um, look, man, like if Dragic was in his prime and acting like this, I'd understand a little bit more because the Raptors aren't a spectacular team. So if
yeah.
this guy was like in his prime, playing his best basketball, and he really wanted to get out, I'd be like, "Oh, okay, man, sure." I think he's like 35. And
Yeah.
so like he's not bad. He's a really good role player, but like that's all you are at the end of the day. You're a good role player. So, get off your high horse and and play some basketball. And I think this Toronto team could really use him. And the fact that he won't play, like, I'm not even a Toronto fan, and it just makes me not like Dragic.
Yeah, no, I completely get what you're saying. And it's just really annoying because yeah, like you touched on it, there's just not a real reason to not want to play here, not want to play in general. Because like if I'm a professional athlete, I would want to play the sport that I'm playing, especially in his position too. Like his years are numbered, he's getting up there in age and he's in a pretty decent position, all things considered. So like again, yeah, I don't really know why he doesn't want to be here. And it's just kind of annoying at times. It's like, we need like that creator, that floor general type beat, and he just doesn't want to play for the team.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of annoying, even from a neutral point of view. Well, I guess
Yeah.
I'm not neutral because I'm Canadian, but the Raptors aren't my team, as you know.
Yeah.
So for me, like I just don't really like how he's acting. But um, move on. You want to talk about Giannis, and because you guys did
Oh,
just beat them, and he missed the game. Um,
I mean,
Bucks have been
it
making a
was,
comeback.
yeah, it was interesting because, if we're going to flash back a few days, they had that thriller against the Hornets
Yep,
and they had a great ending. LaMelo Ball hit that 3-pointer and then he
crazy.
had the game winner. So it was good. Giannis and the Bucks were on a 6-game win streak, but you know, I was really disappointed. Now I don't know why he didn't play. I forget the reason, but I was disappointed because I wanted to see Giannis versus Barnes. That would have been like a cool matchup to see.
Yeah, like from
But
one MVP to the future MVP.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, like I think if we had got this win in 2019 when we had Kawhi and Lowry and Danny Green, I wouldn't have made them that big of a fuss because it's like, oh, I think we can win the championship and we just beat our biggest contenders, without their best player. It's whatever. But I'm happy with the win. So I'm gonna talk about the Bucks quickly. I think I'm not gonna say that like I'm gonna write them off, but I think that they should still be winning this game against Toronto, despite Giannis not being there, because they still got some good players. Drew Holiday had a nice game. Chris Middleton's still there. They still got Mike Budenholzer. Bobby Portis is a good role player. So I don't necessarily think that this loss for Milwaukee was like just a one-off because Giannis wasn't there. Because really and truly, they should have won the game. You know,
Yeah, like fair enough, but I mean, to be fair, they only lost by four.
yeah,
And the Raptors players had a really good game. You're not going to see that every night. Like you said, I think even Siakam had a really good night. So, or a good night. And I just think you can't really blame them. When you lose your star player, it's kind of hard to adjust as well.
yeah,
So, but yeah, like you said, they do have good role players. Like you said, Bobby Portis and Grayson Allen, your
yeah.
boy. He's a very good role player for them now. Mike Budenholzer, I think, is a good coach. Like, I don't think he's great. Uh, I definitely thought he's been outperformed in the playoffs quite a few times. Um, but yeah, like they have a good squad. I don't think it's that big of a deal that they lost to you. They were on a 6-game win streak, and they
Yeah.
are pretty reliant on Giannis. Like, and Giannis is that guy. Like, I understand,
Yeah.
but uh, Chris Middleton didn't have his best game. Like Drew Holiday had a really good game, but yeah, I don't think it's that big of a deal. But I would have liked to see Giannis play in that game.
Yeah, no, same here. And like, I don't know, maybe he was like, yo, I'm just gonna bow out because Barnes is playing, and then I'm not gonna blame you because Barnes easily would have dunked on him that game. But in all seriousness, yeah, they still have 14-9 right now. They're fourth in the East, 8-2 in their last 10, just had that 6-game win streak. So they're starting to pick it up. Granted, the Wizards are 14-8, so they gotta catch the Wizards, which is something I never thought I would say.
Yeah, no,
But
it actually pains me to say that.
yeah, so the Bucks, they're sitting in around. They're actually, they're only what I think that's 2 games back from the Nets. So that's not it's not horrible at all. They've definitely been on a nice comeback. So yeah, I think I don't know who they play next, whether Giannis is there or not, but they definitely are going to need to bounce back. They face the Miami actually tomorrow, so
Hmm.
that's going to be a pretty good game. That was always a good game in the playoffs.
Yeah,
So I mean, we'll
definitely
see.
excited to see that.
Yeah, who do you think if Giannis is playing, you think the Bucks will get the win?
Just because recent memory, they did in the playoffs. I'm a go with the Bucks if Giannis is playing. But even still, if Giannis is playing, that's always a good matchup, like you said in the playoffs. Obviously, the Miami Heat won the first go round, and they went to the finals, and then the Bucks won last year. So, and went on to win the whole championship. So definitely a great matchup. I mean, pretty much any decent team that plays the Miami Heat, I'm expecting a good game because the Miami Heat just give you good games to watch usually.
Yeah,
I do want to say though, didn't really do that the other night against Cleveland. They got destroyed, and
yeah,
I didn't think they'd lose to Cleveland in the first place, and I definitely didn't think they'd lose by that much. So that was pretty shocking, but I think the Miami Heat are a great team. Obviously, with Kyle Lowry, Jimmy Butler, Bam, Tyler Hero, even. So they have a good squad. They'll give you a good game. So I'm expecting that to be probably one of the games of the season.
yeah. No, I completely agree. One thing that I will say about those players that you mentioned is that I feel like they step up in big games. So despite maybe the recent inconsistencies, they're only 13-9 after having a nice hot start. But I think it'll be a good game. I think the Heat will step up. I think Lowry could have a big game. Tyler Hero's been playing his best basketball, so he's obviously one to look out for. I don't got to speak much on Jimmy Butler, honestly. And at this point, Bam Adebayo is like he's pretty much a start. So I'm expecting a big game from him. So it'll be a nice matchup. I hope Giannis is playing because obviously, as a mutual fan, I want to see the best basketball. But hey, man, if he's not, I hope the Bucks can step up, maybe get a nice win for themselves. I don't know, but definitely be a good game to watch for sure.
Yeah. So I did want to say, very quickly, the Nets are apparently open to trading Kyrie. So obviously he doesn't have any plans to play for this entire season because of he doesn't want to get the vaccine. Fair play to him, his choice, right? So, but he's not. They said they don't want him to play just like some here because he can play in certain states, uh,
Yeah,
like the southern states and stuff, but he can't play at home games like in New York.
yeah.
So they said they didn't want to have like a disjointed approach. I completely understand that, but um, what are your thoughts on they're willing to trade him now?
Oh man, it's crazy. I feel like as you know, I'm a big Kyrie Irving fan, and I feel like oh man, it's so unfortunate that this COVID pandemic happened because we might look back on this and say that COVID robbed us of potentially one of the greatest basketball teams of all time. Now,
Hmm.
on paper, you got Durant, Harden, and Kyrie. And in terms of talent, and we saw it when they played together, that might be one of the best, if not the best, offensive trios of all time. So the fact that we only got them for as long as we did, because Harden and Kyrie and Durant only played like 12 games together, I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
because they were all injured at different
Yeah,
points.
exactly. And in the playoffs, they came up just short against the Bucks. Hypothetically, I know it's just hypothetical, but if they win that game seven, they could be champions. Who knows? But I definitely feel for Nets fans. I feel for the like Steve Nash and the rest of them. But in terms of them willing to trade him, I think sadly it's the best move because as much as I want Kyrie to stay and eventually play with them together, if the Nets are in a win now mode, then like having Kyrie just there, like it's really gonna affect them. Granted, they are the first seed, I'm pretty sure, so they are still doing good without him. But I think any team on paper will want Kyrie. So I feel like if there's a team willing to take him in, all things considered, then I would pull that deal. It's just such a shame that we're legit a global pandemic away from potentially seeing one of the greatest basketball teams ever play. So I just think it's very unfortunate that this has to happen. Like you said, I'm not gonna bash Kyrie because it's his choice, whatever. So like good on him, I guess, for standing his ground. But it's just unfortunate that we got to see a glimpse and we're never gonna see that again. So that's kind of how I'm feeling on that.
Well, see here, I was thinking, right? Let me just paint the picture for you, right? So at the end of the day, he can't play in like I don't even know how many states, right? I'm Canadian. I don't keep up with all of their each state's mandates, but he can't play in a bunch of different courts. So I'm not sure that every team in the league would actually want him, because if you're going to trade for a guy uh, who's known to be a locker room headache at times and
Yeah,
known to be kind of all over the place, and he's making a lot of money, he's injury prone as well. So there's all these factors. Uh, and that's not even mentioning the big one that he can't play in a lot of games. So I'm pretty sure a lot of teams wouldn't even want him.
yeah,
Um, and and then you add on top of that, like the the Nets would probably want something good in return. So even teams that would want to do that, they're not going to give up one of their top players. So
yeah.
um, do you think maybe just keep him, and maybe the mandate will go away in all the states, and maybe next year we can get
Yeah, like
all three of them?
that is a good shout, to be fair. And I know I was gonna say Canada, Canada specifically, we're not letting those players in. So I don't know what we're gonna change, but just speaking on the US, like I wouldn't put it past the country as a whole to do something. I'm not gonna call it drastic, but to go from, all of this to then none of it. If there would be a country to do it, it would be the States.
Yeah.
So that is a good point. I never really thought about it like that. I mean, if they're willing to, maybe hold out on him and do that, then I could definitely see that. So I could definitely see them keeping on to Kyrie.
Yeah, like they're willing to trade him. I just don't know if they're going to get what they want. So I think maybe just hold on to him unless they get something really good. Like if they could trade him to, I don't know, like the Rockets for like Christian Wood or something,
Oh yeah.
like because the Rockets maybe want to take a chance, or I'm not really sure, but and he could actually play home games at the Rockets. I'm pretty sure all the
Oh,
southern states have it, so the mandate isn't there. So
yeah.
maybe the Rockets for Christian Wood, or Eric Gordon, even like, because I don't know what they're really gonna get. So maybe a couple players. Maybe if they want to take a chance on John Wall, but I just don't know who's really going to be offering a lot of like good stuff for him. So I think maybe just wait. I'm not sure exactly what all of their contract situations are. I thought it's expiring at the end of the season, but if they could re-sign
Yeah.
all those guys and run it back, they're not too old, right? Like Kevin Durant, I think is 32 coming up this year. Um, Maybe 33, and James Harden I think is 31. Kyrie is not that old. I think he's a 28, 29 or something. So um, yeah, like they could run it back maybe next year if they could convince them all to resign. Obviously that is a risk.
Yeah.
Uh, like, is Kyrie going to want to resign after all of this stuff just went down? You never know with Kyrie. He also said
You never know with
he
Kyrie.
said to everyone in the garden, yeah, like I plan on resigning, and then he's gone. So you never know with Kyrie. But I don't know. Maybe they could run it back. I'm not really sure.
The thing about Kyrie that I love and hate at the same time is that he's never afraid to be himself. So I can respect that. He
Yeah.
won't say something that he doesn't truly believe, but there's a lot of backfire with that. So like if he hypothetically got traded, let's say to Houston, is he even gonna want to play? Like is he even gonna want to do that? He would probably say, yeah, no, like I'm open to it. Maybe play the first 2 games and then sit out. Like you never know with Kyrie. And I feel like, it's a shame really that this has to happen because, it's a global pandemic. Like who would have ever thought this would have happened when the Nets first got those guys? So it really is a shame that this has to happen. Um, you know, Kyrie could like truly, he might just retire. Like we've heard him say this before. The season might end and we might still have the COVID. Like we don't know what's gonna happen, but the season could end. There could still be COVID in there, and he could just take a leave of absence from basketball, period. So I hope that doesn't happen because I love Kyrie. But it's just a shame that, for him, and I guess me as a big Kyrie fan, all the Kyrie fans out there, that like there's a genuine possibility that we never see him play basketball again. So
That would be a shame, because
it would be,
you know my thoughts on Kyrie. I do think he's a bit of a drama queen, and he can be a little eccentric sometimes, and he can, I don't know, like sometimes I just feel like, again, like you can be yourself, but other times I just feel like sometimes he's just trying to be I don't know, edgy,
I
just to be
agree with
in the media sometimes, and it's like, like really, dude. But
that.
at the end of the day, whatever I feel about him on a personal level, that's just my thoughts. To
Yeah,
watch him play basketball, he's always a joy to watch.
yeah,
He's gonna give you usually efficient nights. He can finish with both hands around the rim, crafty, probably best handles I've ever witnessed. You know, I wasn't around for prime Allen Iverson, if you want to argue that.
yeah.
I've seen some highlights, but best handle I've ever seen is Kyrie. He can shoot from anywhere on the court. He's just a joy to watch. So I definitely want to see him come back, but I just don't know if any team is really going to want to take that risk, especially like you said, you never know with this guy. He could be like, oh, I'm getting traded to Minnesota. Yeah, screw that. I retire. So like,
It's
and you
like,
know what? Can I blame him? Like I'd probably retire if I was him and I got traded to Minnesota as well. But,
yeah.
um, and watch Minnesota will go on like a 5-game win streak now that I said that. But
Yeah.
yeah, I just think, yeah, I just don't know if anyone wants to take that risk. But let's move on. Let's go to Blazers. Talk about another point guard.
Dame Dollar, has a lower ab injury. I don't know how long he's gonna be out for, but that's a real blow to the Blazers, who have been struggling this year, man. They haven't really been doing good. Chauncey Billups with a great take said that they just gotta pretty much just play harder. It's like
compete harder. Like,
harder.
wow, what a take.
Yeah. So like I don't know, man. I think the Blazers and Damian Lillard, and I'm sure you could agree with me about this, they're gonna go down in history, at least in our generation, as like the wannabe contenders. I feel like they're a team that, as we might say, they're just not serious. They're always gonna be on the outside looking in. And I feel like with today's news, if you guys didn't know, they did fire their GM for having a toxic environment in the locker room and in the staff and whatnot. So it's just a whole disarray. And I don't really know what else to say about the Blazers other than that. Never been too high on them. I think they got really lucky in those couple playoff runs, but never really anything too serious and special. So, I mean, I guess today is it's a low light in Blazers history, I would say. So,
I think you put it best when you said they're not serious.
yeah,
I think we should start definitely using that more on Baud Fawk. You know, teams just aren't serious. But in all seriousness, like you said, like it is a blow to them to lose Dame. But the fact that he hasn't been playing well, maybe it won't be as big of a blow as we think it might be. Because we've seen teams lose some of their best players and still go on to play really good without them. So I'm not exactly sure how they'll do. Like you said, they are struggling. He has been struggling. Maybe this will bind the team together, get them playing their best. And when he comes back, maybe he can start playing his best, and we'll see something else out of Portland. But like you said, they're just kind of like in the middle. I feel like Portland is always like a team that's going to make the playoffs, but never really do anything. So
yeah,
they're just kind of in this middle ground where they're going to make the playoffs, but never win. But they're never good enough to get a good draft pick, and they don't have enough. Like their team is locked up in a lot of money.
yeah,
That their salaries is huge. I think they're over the salary cap by a lot. So they can't really make a lot of trades. They can't sign any free agents. Uh, they're kind of just destined for nothing.
I know.
And until basically they get rid of Damian Lillard or CJ McCollum, they're probably going to be this way until they retire or they're gone. So um, crazy to see them fire their GM. For I think they're doing like an investigation into like the work environment or something. I'm not sure, but I'm not sure who they're gonna get either. But it just kind of looks like dysfunctional over at Portland right now, and I definitely want to be playing there.
Yeah.
It seems kind of crazy over there. So
Yeah, that's one thing too. I know we talked about this like with the Raptors, but who actually wants to play in Portland? Like respectfully though, like I don't think that's a like attractive place to go. And it's like you mentioned, I feel like they're just destined for like not even like mediocrity, but almost yeah, like mediocrity. They're just like a team that it's like, at this point at least, we could count the West playoff contenders and we're not going to mention them. Like even though right now they're only in ninth place, they're just outside. And granted, the teams in front of them have similar records, so they're not completely out of the playoffs. But at this rate, they're going to make the playoffs, as like an 8 seed or a 7 seed, and probably get swept in the first round. So
Yeah.
never been high on the Blazers. I think, David Lillard's a phenomenal player. Don't get me wrong. Really overrated though, in my opinion. Great player though. But yeah, like I think the Blazers, yeah, they did waste David Lillard and CJ McCollum. At one point, we're talking about them as like one of the best backcourts in the league. But each year it's like let down, let down, let down. And granted, they had their chance when Kevin Durant got injured. Or sorry, I have us. That's not them. But they did have their chance, multiple
No,
times.
no. I think he was injured for that
Or he
series.
was injured. Oh,
Yeah,
he
and
was. Yeah,
and
yeah.
so it was backcourt versus backcourt. It was Dame and CJ versus Curry and Klay Thompson, and Dame underperformed. Like with
Yeah.
this guy's whole career has been based around Dame time being clutch, and the biggest moment he came up small. So I know
Yeah.
everyone likes to talk about the OKC shot over Paul George to send us out. Depresses me every night I close my eyes. And but in all seriousness, like you're supposed to be this clutch player. You underperformed in your biggest moment, so I do agree that he's probably a bit overrated. And yeah,
Yeah.
like Portland are pretty much just destined for mediocrity. I think it was an overperformance to even get to the conference finals. And you
Yeah.
said like, oh, like they might get like a low seed. They might not even make the top eight. They might be in a play-in. I could see
Yeah.
them being like a 9 or 10 seed. So um, yeah, like they just kind of got to move on. And I think honestly, I think the GM that they just fired or like the board was perfectly fine with just being a mediocre team and keeping
Yeah.
Dame because the city loves them and it puts people in the seats. So you're making money, but they never really made like a trade to win something special. Like
Yeah.
they're just kind of sitting around making role player trades. Like, dude, that's not gonna make you win anything if this is your core. So
Yeah.
Portland are just kind of destined for nothing.
Yeah. And no, yeah, I completely forgot that it was the backcourts and David Lillard did play the worst out of those four specific players. And yeah, just to touch on that, like, Paul George shot, not to make you depressed, but he had that buzzer beater against the OKC, he had the buzzer beater against Houston before. Like these are iconic moments, don't get me wrong, but they're iconic moments for like little franchises, if that makes sense. Because like why are they settling for that? Like why is Damian Lillard's legacy gonna be? Yeah, I remember that one time in the first round when he shot over Paul George. It's like, oh, so like what they do after that? Nothing, man. It's like, yeah, like if you want to compare them, only because I did bring up Toronto, like at the same time, Toronto was kind of in the hunt the same way Portland was. Then Toronto made actual good moves and won a championship while Dame was doing this and getting knocked out in the next
Yeah.
round. So, yeah, I definitely think Portland as a whole is just mediocrity.
I think if they can get it done, I know we said it before, but trade one of them to Philly for Ben Simmons. Take the chance. Take the
Yeah,
chance on Ben Simmons because what is this getting you? You're just getting kind of mid table every year, right? So your best bet is use your assets. And CJ McCollum and Dame, we both know are really good players. There's no doubt in that. So use your assets, make a big trade, take a risk like Masai Ujiri, man. This guy said, yo, DeMar DeRozan, he was on track to becoming probably the best Raptor of all time. I know we say like Kyle Lowry is that now, but before that championship, we would all said DeRozan is the best player on that team. So um, he literally took the guy who was looking to become, he was the franchise player and
yeah,
said, let me trade it for a guy coming off an injury who didn't even play for like half the season, took the chance and won a ring, their
yeah,
first ring. So take a chance, because even Toronto, like they were basically in the same spot
yeah,
as Portland, just in the East. They were just kind of like they were a good team. They were getting good records, getting knocked out of the playoffs again. They also had to deal with LeBron, so a little bit of a different
hey,
situation. But
yeah,
but like they're take a chance on Ben Simmons or something. Trade maybe one of them to the Kings for like De'Aaron Fox if you can,
yeah,
or see if you can get Marvin Bagley
yeah.
somehow. I'm not really sure, but they got to do something to get out of this.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like a high risk, high reward kind of thing because it worked for the Raptors. And it's like, what have we gained by keeping Dame and CJ McCollum? Maybe the extra ticket sale. I don't know. But it's like, you want to win rings. Like, you have them for championships. And I think I'm confident saying that their championship window is closed. It's over. They had their shot a couple years ago,
Yeah.
even more recently. But no, I think it's done. And I think, yeah, like you said, trade one of them, man, at this point. Just change it up, get a cultural reset, whether you get rid of one or even both. I don't think they could get rid of both, like, realistically, but something needs to happen. And yeah, whether it's Ben Simmons or something like De'Aaron Fox, pretty
Even
much
Brandon
anyone.
Ingram. Brandon
Brand,
Ingram would be a good show.
Brandon, yeah, get someone to be the new face of the franchise, because I'm sorry, man, but Damian Lillard, like, I'm not gonna say it's entirely on him, but he just let you guys down.
Yeah. I also think the front office let them down too. Like
Yeah,
I do think Dame was good enough to, maybe not be the main guy. I don't think he's good enough to be the main guy on a championship winning team, but I think he's definitely good enough to be the second option. He's
yeah.
definitely good enough to be the second option. So they should have somehow found a way to get uh, trade CJ and maybe a couple picks for a really big player, or take a chance on a young guy. They gotta do something because their time is definitely it's up now. Like it's done, like you said. So and it's just getting worse from here. So I think maybe, like we said, trade for one of those guys like Brandon Ingram, young and looks really talented, or Ben Simmons, De'Aaron Fox, one of the guys that are on a struggling team. Uh, give them, if you give them a couple picks and like CJ McCollum, are they going to say like no? That'll get some money, some butts in the seats, and you get future draft picks for them to rebuild on. So I don't know. I think they got to do something. But enough talking about the depressing Blazers. Um, Anything you want to talk about?
I mean, I'm sorry that I got to bring it up, but we can't have this episode conclude with us talking about the Memphis Grizzlies' historic win over the Oklahoma City Thunder. They won by 73 points, winning 152 to 79. If you didn't know, that is the greatest margin of victory in NBA history, bro.
I did know. Um, I thought maybe you were gonna bring up like the Mavericks or something, but no, no. All right, no, that's cool. Yeah, I don't know what I gotta say on this. Like it was depressing. Um, like I said many times before, like I don't expect a lot out of this OKC team because I know they're young, but goddamn, bro, like 73 points, like what do you say? What do you say in the dressing room? Like,
I don't even know what to say. I think this is what I'm gonna say. If you take the scores from, or sorry, if we take the second and third quarter from the Grizzlies, they had in total 82 points. So that alone was more than OKC had in the entire game.
look, man,
Um, I thought,
I'm just gonna say real quick, like at the end of the day, it's just one game. It is very depressing to watch, but um, I didn't expect a lot out of these guys. I definitely didn't expect this, but I thought I had some higher hopes for this team. I thought they were going to build a little bit more. I remember I picked them over the Rockets the other night, and they lost that game. So like I just don't know what to do anymore. It's just so like, and people wonder why I just started like watching Russ on the lake. Like, of course I'm gonna watch. Like, what do I'm gonna watch this. I don't want to like. I'm not gonna like root for that every night. Obviously I do root for them to win, but like wow, man, like it's a pain to watch. So I don't know.
yeah, I mean, on what you said, what do you even say? I mean, I think silence is the best thing in this case because, you just lost by 73. I think, let's just pick up and move on. Let's forget that this ever happened because there's embarrassing losses. And then there's that. That is a historic night for all the wrong reasons. Like a 73-point loss to the Memphis Grizzlies, who didn't even have John Morant, which is crazy to think about. So they didn't even have their best player, and that happened. I mean, I think because OKC are in the state that they're in, this isn't a big not well, it is a big deal, obviously, but it's not that big of a deal, all things considered. I just don't really know. Like, it's just kind of funny that the coach is going to keep his job after that game. But
I don't
I
even
mean,
know his name. It's like it's some crazy name. I don't even know how to pronounce it, but uh, like you fire, like who wants to take that job anyway? If you do fire him, like who's gonna be like, oh yeah, you guys just lost by 73 points, give me the job. Like no
Hey
one's gonna
man,
want that.
there is one person, bro.
Oh
Billy Donovan, bro. Get
no,
this guy
man, I
back.
don't want Billy
Get him back.
Donovan. No, Billy Donovan sucks. I'd rather this guy. I don't even know his name. I'd rather this guy.
Bro, the OKC, they're coming back, man. I don't know when it'll be, but they will.
Look, man. Yeah, like I think they will. They obviously have like the most draft picks I think ever accumulated uh, in NBA history. So they're set up for the future for sure. But damn, 73 points, man. Um, yeah, like I don't even know what the the head coach just got to walk into the dressing room after that and just wow. What do you say? Like you said, silence. But as the head coach, I feel like you have to say something.
Yeah.
You know, like
I mean, it's just
do you
pretty.
get mad at them? Do you kind of just like just be depressed with them? Because clearly he doesn't know what the hell he's doing. So like,
Yeah.
like even if you do say something, is it going to change anything? So, um, yeah, like I definitely like to see him go eventually. But no one's gonna want to take the job until we start getting some better pieces. Like obviously, got Shy and Lou Dort, Josh Giddey. Um, that yeah, that's pretty much it. That's like notable. Like there's a couple role players, but clearly not good. So I mean, I mean, yeah, like just they got to build. I honestly just don't want to even talk about this anymore. Just depressing.
Yeah, man. With because I'm not gonna troll you too hard, we could gladly move on. Yeah, but is there anything else you wanted to add on that note?
Well, I did quickly bring up, I don't know, my whole mood is just shot now just thinking about that team. It's almost it'll never be as bad as the year that I know we just talked about it too, but Dame shot over Paul George and we lost, or even the Utah
Ah,
loss where Paul George and Melo I think combined for like less than like 16 points combined, and I think Russ had like 47 or 41 or
yeah,
something.
I remember.
Um, I don't think honestly OKC just brings me sadness, which is like every time we start talking about them and start talking about stuff that happened in the past, I just get sad. You know, KD leaving and us losing 3-1. So this whole episode, like this is probably my least favorite episode we've recorded. I've just been thinking about all my least favorite moments in NBA history. So um, yeah, Luca dropped 28 and 14, and Mavs beat the Pelicans. Like, what do you expect? I don't know what else to say. You can continue.
Yeah, Luka Doncic, man, he's a great player, phenomenal player. I think this game really, despite the great performance from both the Mavs and Luka Doncic, I think the talking point has to be the Pelicans, bro. They're so pathetic, and I run out of words to describe them. Granted they don't have Zion. I don't even know the situation there.
No, I think Zion's back now.
Oh, he is back
Actually,
now.
I or maybe he's close to coming back. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe he's
they're
not back yet.
funny enough, they are playing the Mavericks again right now. Game just started, but the Pelicans are currently 6-18. I never would have
Wow.
thought that. That's horrific. Granted, that's not even the worst record. Well, it actually is the worst record in the West. The Rockets are at 5-16, but they got more. They have the most losses in the West, which is pretty crazy. I don't know what to say, man. Except Zion has to go, Brandon Ingram has to go. Like I don't want to see these players get caught up in the Pelicans. New Orleans, I hate, as you know, because I hate LSU and I hate the New Orleans Saints. So I'm not even trying to be like, oh, this could be good. No, I want this project to end now. And I'm sick and tired of seeing Zion and Brandon Ingram getting wasted on this horrible franchise. So I really hope that something happens where I wake up in the morning and I see, yeah, the Toronto Raptors have traded Dragic for Brandon Ingram and Zion. That would be amazing. But in all seriousness, they need to get out of there now. Like I can't
Yeah.
do this anymore, man.
Yeah, I think the only good thing to ever come out of New Orleans is Lil Wayne. That's probably it. I'm not. No, but No, but yeah, like I want to see Zion on an actual good team. I want to see Brandon Ingram on an actual good team. The rest of the team, I really just I couldn't care less, to be
Yeah,
honest.
they got Frank Jackson, who's a former Duke player. I don't even know if he's still there, but
Steven Adams. I like Steven Adams, but I think he's being paid a little bit too much to get
fun,
traded.
yeah. Funny enough, he's just not on New Orleans anymore.
Oh yeah, because he got traded for Valanciunas. Yeah, you're right. I like Valanciunas though.
Yeah, he's good. He's good.
Yeah. Josh Hart is like Josh Hart is the most like whatever player. Like the Pelicans, like I'm glad they're bad, but like I do feel like their better players deserve a move.
Yeah.
And I think Zion does one out, to be honest. I think he does. I just don't. Obviously, he's not gone public with it, but I heard he was really close with Lonzo Ball, and he was upset when they let him go. So, and apparently he doesn't really like David Griffin's GM style, I guess. So things aren't really going down great there. I do want to see some of the good players move. I would like to see maybe Zion go to the Knicks like he was supposed to.
I would love that, man.
Brandon Ingram, he would be cool to see on like the Rockets. Maybe see them rebuild around Brandon Ingram and Christian Wood or something. Valanciunas would maybe see him back on the Raptors or something. That would be
that would be good. I don't know how we would pull that off, but that would be pretty cool to see.
But besides that, like New Orleans just suck. And now that I said that, watch them go and win, because I feel like every team I say, oh, they just suck, they go and win right after. I'm like, oh yeah, the Rockets just suck. Like I don't even know if they'll get 10 wins this year, and then they win 3 straight. So. Yeah, just my takes are just they hate me in the NBA. So I feel like those teams probably watch us and then they bounce back because of that. That's probably it.
Yeah, that's their motivation, man. They're like, yo, Baud Fawk doesn't believe in us. Now we got to turn it around.
Yeah, exactly. That has to be it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's good for this episode.
Yeah, I think that covers it all. Very, very good episode with some nice content,
I hated this episode.
But yeah, no, guys, thank you once again for watching. Thank you who made it this far. We enjoy making these videos for you guys. And once again, just check our description for our social medias. But yeah, Tarren, you want to say anything?
Yeah, no, just please like the video. It will help me get over the pain of thinking of OKC a lot. I appreciate everyone for checking out the videos, and make sure to share and like, and we'll see you guys next time.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. And once again, check out our social medias in the bio. And yeah, you guys have a good one.